Hello, boyos! This is the Loner Gamecast, where we discuss all things video games. My name is Nick. That is Jake. This
Hi.
week, we're talking about Xbox. A lot of Xbox this week, honestly. Talking about Xbox. We're talking about the new DualSense controller. We're going to be talking about Metacritic. Made a couple of changes to their website. And we're going to be talking about just video games and how they're spending shit, and we're also going to go over our predictions of the Xbox event this week, the Xbox Games Showcase this week. And
yes.
let's start off the show with the last week's question, which was, what is the future of E3? And you guys answered
With this.
and as far as we can tell, you're absolutely right, because we know everything, and it's just that's gonna be it. And you guys are right. Also, good job on that.
Yeah, there is no future.
There's no future of any E3. Jake, what you been playing?
Well, I beat Knack 2.
No way. No
Yeah.
way.
So last week I said I was, I started Knack 2 and I planned on beating it. I beat it.
Oh my god.
The game is not great. It's not great. What I will say and what I will give it praise for is the fact that it has like a co-op mode, right? And I had my little nephew over here. He's 5-6 years old. And I booted up the co-op mode. And basically you just get two knacks on screen,
Yeah.
And yeah, that's pretty good for like baby's first video game where he could do whatever he wants as Knack. And I could kind of like push him forward as Knack. And like if you go far enough on the screen, like he'll get flashed forward to you. So I think that's like the good thing about Knack. Everything else is pretty bad. The story.
Last week you said it was hard. I remember you saying it was.
So
you were dying.
you know
more
what
often than you
happened?
thought.
I had it set to very, very difficult
Oh.
without realizing it. So I switched it to normal, and it's actually pretty damn easy.
Okay. Very,
Yeah,
very difficult.
they added moves and stuff, but like it has a static camera, which is just like, why have a static camera in 2017 when the game came out?
Because baby's first video game, like you said, probably.
I guess, but like Ratchet and Clank is baby's first video game too, and it's enjoyable for anyone who plays it, I'd say.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, that's
same kind of game.
That's Knack
And
2.
then-
I've also been playing Ghost of Tsushima. Just started last night.
Me as well.
I don't have a lot of opinions. I haven't even beat the prologue. Like I literally.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, I'm in Act 1 right now, and
Okay.
it's pretty great. What I've been saying is it's Assassin's Creed meets God of War for the PlayStation 4.
Yeah, so far for me, the only thing that's like really struck me about the game, because I'm not that far, is it's just gorgeous. The game is just pretty.
Yeah, I wish I had a better monitor or a better TV to play it on.
Same.
Because I want to play it at 4K,
HDR.
Yeah, I want to see those leaf particles fly by the screen and shit. That's yeah.
What else you been playing?
I've been playing Monster Hunter World Iceborne. A couple of my friends have gotten the Iceborne DLC, and I've had it for a while, so it gives me a good reason to go back. And they have events coming up and release monsters that I haven't beaten yet, and it's been a good time. I really enjoy that game. I didn't think I'd like it as much as I do, but I've been playing it for like 200 hours or something like that. And then
what is Fault?
I've also been playing Fault. I've only played 2 matches, I think, but Fault is an early access game that is a revitalization of sorts of Paragon.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it's
a MOBA.
It's Paragon, but it's made by a team that has nothing to do with Epic, because Epic made all the stuff free for it. They just gave away all the assets and whatnot for free. So this team took a whole bunch of those assets and put it into their own system, I guess. And it's pretty good. It's super early access. alpha still. It's like $15 on Steam. Me and one of my friends got it, and if you liked Paragon, it's not far off. Honestly, it's pretty good.
Maybe
Um,
I'll have to jump in that shit with you.
yeah, that'd be awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, your computer should be able to run it
Oh yeah,
for
absolutely.
sure. For sure, you got a new one. And then that brings us to news because that's all I've been playing.
Let's get into the news.
And then transition. Xbox One X and Xbox One S digital will no longer be manufactured. This is a story from IGN by Matt Kim. The standard Xbox One S will still be made, however. So the Xbox One X and S digital will no longer be made, but the standard One S will still be made. A Microsoft spokesperson confirmed, as we ramp into the future with Xbox Series X, we're we're taking the natural step of stopping production. Xbox One X and Xbox One S all digital edition. I really wish they would come up with better names for that shit. Um, but
One
yeah,
S
that pretty
Series
much
X.
it pretty much comes down to we're making the Series X. We're gonna stop the big One X. We're gonna stop the all digital.
What
Um, I thought
what's
that was kind of interesting.
what's weird to me about it is the One S all digital like just came out last year.
Yeah, yeah,
Like that just came out. It's also what I'm feeling is because normally, when a new console releases, they don't stop manufacturing the consoles for like a couple years unless you're the Wii U, which they pretty
yeah,
much
yeah.
immediately just stopped production on those. But like what strikes me about this is like they're probably stopping it because of the weird naming system. So like
Oh, I didn't think
they
about
don't
that.
want people to get confused and buy the One X. It's like, no, you want to buy the Series X.
The Series X.
You don't want to buy
Yeah,
the Xbox One S all digital. You want to buy the Series X all digital.
all digital. Yeah, absolutely.
So
That's a
that's kind
good
of
point.
that's what I
But
think they're doing.
if you go into places where you're trying to buy an Xbox, they're still gonna have Xbox
Right.
One X's and all
Hmm.
digital S's. Um, so I'm sure there's still gonna be some of that confusion, but also, what are you doing, Xbox? Like,
Their naming conventions
just
are so fucking weird. I don't get it at all. But it makes sense, and the
the production. But
yeah.
you know what I don't understand is they're removing the X, which is like the big one. It's the
Yeah, the more
PS4
beef
Pro
the beefy one.
equivalent,
Hmm.
and then they're also removing the all digital, which just came out. But they're
Right.
continuing the oldest, not the oldest ones, but the older
Right.
slim model of the Xbox One, and I thought that was kind of weird.
You
It's like,
know
why
you know
why
why?
not keep one of those?
Because the only reason to buy a 1X or a Pro even is because you want the latest and greatest. Well, and now
Yeah,
it's not the latest and greatest anymore. So what's the point? Just get the if you want an Xbox One, you just get the cheap one
yeah,
because if you wanted the beefier console, you'd get the newer one.
yeah, yeah. I guess that makes sense, but there's people who like
And that's their mindset,
are
I'm sure.
there's people who are behind on consoles. Like, people still have the PlayStation 3.
Right.
So I
360.
could see people wanting, the Xbox One X over the S, but now they may not be able to get it all too easy, or it'll be more expensive than they would rather pay for it.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I don't get the naming. The naming convention just really just fucks with me, but I don't know. It makes
Yeah,
sense that they're doing it. Good on you. The consoles are actually coming out. It's happening.
yeah. It
It's
seems like
exciting.
they're what I'm thinking is they're. We'll get into it on the predictions. Actually,
Okay.
the thought that I just had. We'll get to it at the older farther down in the
Yeah.
podcast. All right. So the next story, also Microsoft. This comes from Destructoid's Chris Carter. Microsoft has announced that Xbox Games Pass, their Netflix-esque service for games, and Project X Cloud, the cloud gaming initiative, are being combined into one subscription via Xbox Games Pass Ultimate, which also includes Game Pass on PC this September. So they're taking the xCloud and the Game Pass and slamming them together, so you can play your Xbox Games Pass games on the toilet with your phone this September. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's sort of interesting, but also to be expected. I mean, that's kind of what PlayStation Now has been doing this entire time,
Yeah,
where it's been both you could download games and stream games. The only special thing about the Series X or Series X, Jesus, yeah, they're naming conventions. The xCloud, Jesus fuck. Yeah, the only special thing about the xCloud is you could play it on your phone or whatever. So I mean, that's cool. It's finally happening. We're finally getting the xCloud this September. It makes sense, right before the drop of the new
right
consoles.
before the launch. Yeah, for sure.
Let everyone. So like this is part of the Game Pass Ultimate bundle, which also includes Xbox Gold, I believe, as well.
I don't think so.
It should
I think
via Xbox Game Pass Ultimate,
right.
which
Includes Game Pass on PC.
Yeah,
I think
Game Pass Ultimate is what they title the bundle deal, where you get both Game Pass and Xbox Gold.
Oh.
So they're just throwing xCloud into that, which
Oh,
is awesome. That's really cool.
So it's less of we're combining two things that we have, and they're just adding a third thing into something that they already have.
xCloud isn't really a thing right now. Project xCloud, this is really them introducing it. It's kind of a big deal, and they're just throwing it straight into Game Pass. So I wonder what the future of Game Pass is. If they're going to go all streaming, or if they're going to keep it like you could still download if you wanted to, and also stream.
I hope it doesn't go into streaming, because people like me who have terrible internet, living in a location where I can't get, fiber or whatever, it would be horrible if that's where it was, like streaming games, kind of like streaming Netflix. It would be not the best. But then moving on to PlayStation news, we got Jeff Keighley, and he posted a video where he goes hands-on with a new DualSense controller. It was about 20-minute video where he plays the game with where it's all about the
Astro Boy, right?
Astro Boy, Astro's Playroom. That's what
Astro's Playroom. Yeah.
Yeah, he plays that, shows off like what the controller can do and all of the like haptic feedbacks, and there's like ice levels, and he's like, wow, I can feel the ice and whatnot. And then he interviews Eric Lempel, head of PlayStation marketing, about pretty much shit that we've already heard about. And it was pretty much just like, yeah, we can't talk about anything just yet, but we'll keep you informed. It was kind of cool though, seeing the controller in somebody's physical hands, and seeing how it interacted with the video, with the game.
And he gave it a pretty honest review too, I'd say. He mentioned that it doesn't feel much weightier than the PlayStation 4 controller, and that it still has some issues, but I don't know, it's exciting. It's a real fucking shame that only Jeff Keighley can see this thing. It'd be really nice if they just put it on shelves for us all to buy right now.
I know, I would be out there day one if they just went.
I'd use it on my PS4, even if you had to use it linked to a cable. I'd still use it just to try it out. It's also a damn shame that E3 isn't happening, so I'd imagine at E3 everyone would get to try it.
You'd have so many more reviews and people's ideas and stuff, but it seems like Jeff Keighley and developers only.
This is what we get. It's cool. I don't know. It's like watching a dude use a controller. I don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of how the video was. It was like 20 minutes, and I kind of skipped forward a couple of times, and I was just like, okay, he's just.
I guess the more exciting thing for me in that entire video was just getting to see Astro's Playroom, and also finding out that that's going to be a packaged in game, which is cool. I didn't know that.
That is cool. Yeah, you
Yeah,
just
and
get that.
it looks fun. It looks like a stupid fun game, and it gets to show off the features of the controller.
Yeah,
Um,
it kind of looks a little bit like Banjo-Kazooie kind of platformer, 3D platformer. It looks fun. Looks good.
yeah,
Looks interesting. Controller looks good. I really like the way that looks. Honestly, I don't know about you, but I like that
I think it's
reverse Oreo.
okay. Hot take. Hot
Hot
take.
take. Hot take.
I think it's ugly.
Well, that's fine.
I think it's ugly. I think the PS5 is ugly. But like, here's the thing. I'll get used to it. It's like it's not a big deal. It's ugly, but like I'll get used to it. It's
Yeah,
fine. It is
for
ugly
sure.
though.
I like it. I like the way it looks. It's a change. And then we got Metacritic, who slightly changes their user submissions following the Last of Us fiasco. I noticed this when I went to visit their site for Ghost of Tsushima, and they have, on the left side they have like the critic reviews, and on the right side they have the user reviews. Well, this was a day after Ghost came out. I was just kind of like looking at reviews, or it was the day of when Ghost came out. I played it a little bit. I'm like, what are other people thinking about this game? And you can't post. Their new thing apparently is you can't post user reviews until 36 hours after the game is out, which I think is a great idea. I don't believe that anybody can finish a game, at least not a AAA game that's 10 plus hours to beat in 46 in 36 hours, like they're
Yeah.
not going to stay up. And Ghost of Tsushima apparently is 30 hours.
Yeah.
So they're not going to stay up and, slam through it in 30 hours and then post as soon as possible. If it really prevents the whole
Review bomb.
review bombs and like people just hating because that's the video game industry and people just hate video games to hate video games, I guess. I don't get it.
Yeah, I think it's a great thing for multiple reasons. Like you said, it's good in the fact that like, you can't beat a game in less than, 30 hours anyway. Even a knack length game, most people aren't going to beat it in the first couple days. So it's good in that sense. It's also good in the sense that like people who like right when it drops, people are going to be quick. Like the trolls are going to be quick to go there, and then like within like 2 to 3 days, they won't even be thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like buying a gun, right? When you buy a gun, there's usually like a wait window, and the reason that's there is because like it's supposed to like if you're planning on doing something dumb, it gives you time to like think about not doing something dumb.
Did you recently go and buy a gun? Is that what
No,
you're telling me?
this
Okay.
just came to my mind. I don't
Okay.
know why.
All right.
But yeah, it's just like, if you plan on writing a shit review just because you think it's dumb and you haven't played it,
Because it's a PlayStation exclusive, damn
yeah,
it.
or
Yeah.
it's like Activision, fuck Activision,
Yeah.
or whatever it is, it forces you to wait 2 to 3 days
Yeah.
before you can actually post it. So then you'll probably forget. You probably won't do it, and then it'll just be the people who like beat the game. It's on their mind, and they're like, okay, let me go post a Metacritic.
Yeah. That's a good point. That the people that are mad are just gonna have to wait, and then they'll forget about it. Yeah,
and if
sure.
they don't, it'll still be less people review bombing. Although Ghost of Tsushima still got some review bombs, but
Yeah.
it's
Maybe it needs to be a little bit longer,
yeah. I don't
because
know.
especially for a game like that. Whereas like I'm a strong believer that in order to review a game in its in order to review a game correctly, you have to beat it. You have to get to the end. You have to get to credits roll, because if this happened with Death Stranding, a lot of people were like, this game sucks, it's slow, it doesn't do this, it doesn't do this. They didn't beat the game. Like I haven't played it, you played it. You said like, yeah, I get why people would review it bad, but the ending of that game really kind of ties everything together, and it makes it
Yeah.
worth it. So I feel like a lot of those bad reviews
Well, I
that
think just to push back a little bit there, I think like if you're a professional reviewer, I think that makes sense. You should beat the game if you are, part of journalism. If you're a journalist and you work for IGN, or
right.
even if you have a platform like YouTube or something where you have a following, I think you should beat the game. It's with, or at least disclose, I didn't beat the game, but this is
Right.
what I thought.
That would be better, I think. If they
But I think if
somebody
you're
said,
just some Joe Schmo posting on Metacritic, and like you've put 15 hours in, I think it's okay. Like, because honestly, like a big part of criticism and the value of a game is the time that you spend at the game. And if
right,
you feel the game doesn't respect your time, I think it's fair to give it a bad grade, even if I disagree with you.
yeah,
Because that was my thing with Death Stranding, is like I love that game. I also really liked the gameplay loop, but I could see why someone wouldn't like the gameplay loop. I think they're really missing out if they don't get to the end. But if someone's like, I played like 20 hours of this game and I hated it, be like, okay, whatever, man. You put the time
yeah.
in, you didn't like it, whatever.
That's what I was going to bring up, like to push back against myself. Like I've played some games where it's like you'll play and it's just
Oh, I lost Nick. This seems to happen once a show.
like maybe. There we go.
I lost you for a
I'm
sec.
here. Yeah, there it
It
goes.
seems to happen once every show.
Yeah, I heard you say that. Where did I? And if I put in 4 hours into a video game and it's just not grabbing me, and
Yeah.
I just can't see myself going through it, I won't play it. Like I did the same thing with Sekiro, and I got to a certain boss, and I'm like, I beat that boss, and I'm like, that wasn't worth my time. I don't want to spend 4 hours doing something and hating myself for it. So I'm just not going to continue to do that. Somebody else might like that, but it's not for me, kind of thing.
But you're still allowed to have an opinion on it, even though you didn't beat it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But in my very opened, awakened mind, my wokeness, my wokeness, I can understand why like Sekiro is a good game, but it's just not for me. It's like, yeah, people enjoy that game. I get it.
That's my thing with The Last of Us Part 2 is like, even if you didn't like the game or the story, can't you just like appreciate the things that it did do? But that's a whole other can of beans.
For sure.
Goya beans.
That's my main issue with, people who just review online because one thing set them off and they're like, oh, this game's unplayable. It's like, no, it's not. Like, you have to give it a shot,
The same is true with movies, like everyone looks at the Rotten Tomatoes score as if it's, like it's king, as if this is like the answer. And it's like, what makes more sense is to go on Rotten Tomatoes and read through some people's reviews rather than just looking at that arbitrary score up at the top. Same is true with Metacritic. Like if you see that it has a low Metacritic, go through the scores and you can see if people are review bombing. Like
right.
You can tell.
For sure.
Just like go through some of those scores. That's a much better way to use those sites. People are too focused on like what the number is. And, like,
I hate that.
And it's like, how about you just go on and like read what the game is about? Maybe you have different opinions because
maybe you don't even have to read through their whole spiel. Just like, go through, hit some of the points that somebody's written about, and like, okay, this is why they think it's bad. This is why this person thinks it's good in this area. You don't have to read a 5-page essay about why the game is good or why the game is bad. Just look at some of that and you'll get the vibe of how they're going.
And like, Days Gone is a good example, right? Like that game didn't get extraordinary reviews, got like a 7, but you could probably go on and read some reviews and be like, well, they didn't like it, but this sounds like something I might enjoy.
Yeah, for sure.
That's just the way it is.
And you might find one of your new favorite games. Who knows?
Yeah, true. Yeah, the same happened with Death Stranding. Like IGN gave it a 7. I think it's a 9. So
I don't think they beat it though.
yeah, who knows? I'm not gonna make
They,
those
yeah,
allegations.
I mean,
but
that was at a time where IGN was going through a whole bunch of shit though, like with the plagiarism and stuff, right?
yeah, that's true.
So I don't know who reviewed it, but it could be that guy, and he just didn't play
Yeah,
it, and
yeah.
he was just
Apparently,
like, I'm not spending any more time in this game, and just.
apparently that Philip guy is trying to make a comeback.
I heard about that too. Yeah.
And his video got like 5,000 views, and all the comments are like, "Bro, just use your skill set on something else."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because once you ruin your whole name, you kind of ruin your name as
you can't
a
come back from
journalist.
plagiarism.
Yeah,
as a journalist, it's done.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna bounce back. But
well, let's get into some numbers, huh?
Let's do it. That's my favorite thing, talking numbers.
This comes from Chaim Gartenberg. I pretty sure
Chaim Gartenberg.
Chaim
Gartenberg. It could be Chaim.
I don't know. I'm sorry, Chaim.
From The Verge.
It's from The Verge. U.S. video game spending hit a 10-year high in June. Video game spending in the U.S. reached its highest point since 2010, according to new NPD Group reports, with sales through June reaching $6.6 billion on hardware, software, and accessories. It's the highest total for the first 6 months of the year since spending hit $7 billion a decade ago. Spending has been dramatically higher in 2020 than it was compared to last year, with sales through June up to 19% year over year. And June sales specifically were up 26% compared to the same month in 2019. While MPD's numbers don't cite a specific reason for the boost in sales, it's hard not to draw the conclusion that a major contributing factor was the spike in video game playing, caused by millions of people having a sudden boost in free time thanks to COVID-19 shutdowns.
Seriously.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
I remember
even me just fucking I play video games all the time, but now it's like I need something else. I need what's on sale. What can I get? Because I need to fill this time. I've done everything.
Yeah, and I remember when the lockdown started, everybody bought Animal Crossing, everybody bought Doom. It was like these were just things to do. Everybody bought Final Fantasy VII, and now of course The Last of Us comes out. Like everyone was gonna buy that anyway. Plus the people now who just have all this free time to play it are buying it. Same with Ghost of Tsushima. It's like it makes complete sense, makes total sense. Who knows though? This is like, in my opinion, a really good year for video games regardless. So maybe this would have happened anyway, because this has been a really good year for video games.
I disagree.
Okay.
I don't think this. Yeah.
Tell me why. Why do you think?
I just don't think this year has been very good for video games compared to some other years.
Well, it's
been all right.
We had Animal Crossing.
You had Animal Crossing. You had Doom.
We have Doom
Final
2,
Fantasy.
Final Fantasy VII. We had The Last of Us Part 2, Ghost of Tsushima,
right.
And then later in the year, we still have Cyberpunk coming out. We have
the new consoles. I'm not counting the new consoles releases because.
But I mean, those are like 5 big games, and those are just the games that came straight to my head. Like I'm not even looking.
Yeah.
So those are pretty big games. I don't know.
But what was it in 2016?
Right.
18, 16, 18. It was an even year. We had. Horizon Zero Dawn, we had Breath of the Wilds, we had Nier Automata, and that was in 1 month, and then it kept going. We had Doom, I think, that same year towards the end. We had that was 2016. Yeah, it might have been 2016.
I hear what you're saying, but I think this year is just as big.
You think so? I don't know. Maybe towards the end.
This year's massive already. And we're only halfway through it.
Towards the end, yeah. But at the beginning of the year, because
we also have Watch Dogs Legion coming out.
Yeah.
And, this is a pretty huge year.
Yeah, the first part of this year sucks.
I
Sucked.
don't know. Doom, Animal Crossing, Final
That's it.
Fantasy VII. Those are three pretty big games right at the beginning of the year. And not to forget, Persona 5 Royale.
Oh yeah, it's a game that came out 2 years before, but that's
Yeah.
fine.
But this leads us to the NBA.
NPD,
The
the NBA.
the MPD group rank for June. This is the top selling
Top tell.
top 10 selling video games, retail and digital for June 2020.
This
And
doesn't include digital for Switch, right?
right. So you see on the chart here how there's little asterisks next to games.
Yes. Yeah,
That
yeah,
means it doesn't include digital sales.
Gotcha.
So at number 1 was The Last of Us Part 2, which makes a whole lot of sense. Apparently that game sold like 4 or 5 million copies in its first week.
Yeah, it's fucking
At number
insane.
2, moving down from number 1 to number 2 is Call of Duty Modern Warfare, which that game is still selling like hotcakes.
I can't believe how long this game has sold well for. You know?
That's just,
usually it's like Call of Duty, you play it for 6 months, it drops off, you wait for the next one.
that's just how well these games sell.
Yeah.
It's nuts. At number 3, Animal Crossing New Horizons, and this does not include digital sales. So this game is just selling like crazy. Still.
I figured people would be done with it because I'm done with it.
Yeah, dude, I was over that game when I started.
If somebody wants to hit me up in the comments, I will sell it to you. Like I don't want this anymore.
I don't even want it on my shelf.
I don't want it anymore. It was great for a month and a half, but now I'm just bored of it.
Going from number 2 to number 4, Grand Theft Auto 5.
Finally.
Hot damn. Still selling like crazy. No, it'll be up at number 2 again when there's another slow month.
Oh yeah.
That's just Grand Theft Auto 5 just never stops selling. That's why they're not making a new one. That's why they're like, let's just put Grand Theft Auto 5 online onto the PS5. Makes a lot of sense. At number 5, we got Mortal Kombat 11. That's
weird.
It makes sense. It's like the biggest fighting game, and there's always these fighting game nerds.
True.
At number 6, we got, more Rockstar with Red Dead Redemption 2. That kind of makes sense to me, I suppose. Moving from rank 835 to rank 7 out of nowhere, like an RKO for Randy Orton, Ring Fit Adventure.
You know why? I can tell you why.
Tell me.
Okay, so Ring Fit Adventure is such a popular video game that they cannot keep up the demand. They cannot develop enough rings or whatever.
Oh, is that what it is?
So this game sells out immediately.
Oh.
So in June, they put out a whole bunch more, and my girlfriend wants it, and I'm on like the Nintendo deals or whatever, and it posted on Reddit, and it's like, hey, you guys, Ring Fit Adventure's back, and within like 10 to 15 minutes, it was sold out again. It's ridiculous. People want this game so bad.
That makes a lot of sense. I bet like COVID and stuff isn't helping with like the shipping, because
for sure.
That's a game that like needs an accessory. So
that's an interesting. I really like that's on here.
I don't know if you've like
interesting.
I don't know if you've gone to like Walmart at all or like Target or anywhere that sells video games. If you go to the video game section, all the hardware is sold out. Like all of it, like PlayStations, like everything, it's all sold out, and like they're not getting new shipments, and like, yeah, it's crazy.
That is crazy.
It's crazy.
But yeah, that's a fun little NPD thing right there. 835 to rank 7.
Yeah, out of nowhere.
It's pretty funny.
Then moving from number 4 to number 8 is NBA 2K20, which is interesting because was that the free game last month, or is that the free game this month?
I think it's the free game this month.
I think it's the free game this month. So it sold really well last month, and now
that sucks for all of those people.
Yeah.
who bought it, who bought it on PlayStation, and then the next month they gave it out for free.
That's hilarious. Then moving from number 11 to number 9, Mario Kart.
Mario Kart? Mario
Jesus.
Kart.
I'm losing my mind, Nick. I'm losing my mind.
It's a Mario Kart 8.
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Yeah, that game's gonna sell well forever. It's Mario Kart. I think that's like everyone's go-to. Like when they buy a Switch, is like they buy Mario Kart.
You either buy Mario Kart, you buy Mario World, or you buy
Smash Bros.
Smash Bros. Yeah. Pokemon.
This one's weird to me. From number 14 to number 10, Minecraft Dungeons. I don't know why that got like a sudden jump in numbers. I don't know. That's weird.
I can't think of it. Maybe because people heard how bad it actually is, and they're like.
But like it went up. It went from 14 to 10.
Yeah, and that's digital, or that's not digital.
I also
that's
hear
not including digital.
I hear it's not that bad. I hear it's just like baby's first Diablo.
Yeah, but that's what I hear. Is it's baby's first Diablo, and
yeah. But if you're a kid, I mean,
yeah,
you got to keep in mind kids play games too.
Yeah, I'm looking at my nephew, and he plays like Roblox and stuff.
Yeah.
So
got to keep that shit in mind.
The Minecraft Dungeons, it makes sense if your kids aren't phone kids, your kids are like console kids, because a lot of the kids nowadays, they'll be on iPads or on the phones, and they'll just play the gacha games.
Sure.
I haven't really seen a whole lot of kids with a Switch.
Maybe at home. How many kids are you hanging out with, Nick?
On my weekends, I used to hang out with a lot more before this.
Kids love video games. I've come to find out, though, like even beyond just like the tablet game, like if like just from the exposure with my niece and nephew, if they had to choose between playing my PlayStation and playing like their tablets or whatever, they choose my PlayStation 100% of the time.
But don't you think that's because that's what you would do?
Because I'm like the cool uncle.
Yeah, you're a cool uncle, and you're like, you play the PlayStation, and like, oh wow, I want to be just like Uncle Jake.
Maybe that's part of it, but I think also PlayStation is just rad.
yeah, I guess video games
and the Switch
in general.
Switch is just rad.
Yeah, you get a designated controller, and it's like, I want to.
So much better than just like tapping a button to make a dude jump, like in Mario Run.
That's true.
It's just more fun.
Yeah. That's the end of that NPD group rank, and then we got events coming up this week. We have the Xbox Showcase, and we've got we had the Nintendo Direct Mini. Sorry,
let's talk about the Nintendo Direct first.
Yeah, let's do that. That came out today, which is the 20th, and it was a small little thing. They showed off DLC for Cadence of Hyrule. They're going to add new characters, new music, a new story, I believe. And the new characters are out today, and the rest is coming later in fall. Then they showed off a game called Rogue Squadron, and we've seen this game before. It's kind of like an Overwatch clone, but they're releasing it today.
Oh,
so I thought that was cool. Then we got like a thing with WWE superstars all chilling out on a couch playing WWE Battlegrounds, which looks like, I don't know if you remember, but remember like those WWF dolls that you'd have? And
yes.
You'd choke slam them?
Dude, Battlegrounds looks
characters.
It looks so fun. It looks so dumb and like it reminds me of oh god, I can't remember the name of it, but it just looks fun. It's like NBA Street, but like for WWE.
Yeah, because all of the moves are like crazy. Like they'll throw somebody in the air for like 600 feet in the air, and then they'll come choke slam them down to the ground. Yeah, it looks really fun. That's about it.
Yeah.
And then they had a Shin Megami Tensei little segment where they announced that they're remaking the third one. And that's pretty cool. That's good news. And it's coming to the Switch, which is also good news for possibly Persona. Possibly.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have my hopes up for that. Dude, that game looks great. That game looks fucking great. They really up-res the shit out of that. They
sure did.
It looks really good. Anyway.
Yeah. And then they said something about Shin Megami Tensei 5. They had a little teaser trailer. Nothing.
They finally announced
crazy.
that it's coming out in 2021. I don't think they they didn't have a date at all, but now they have a date. So
Yeah, so that was it. It was just a little small direct that I didn't know was happening until I woke up this morning.
Yeah, it was. I can assume it was mainly for Shin Megami Tensei.
Yeah.
That is the big news. I saw it all over the internet when I woke up this morning. So I'm excited for it. I will be playing it. I don't know if I'll beat it. It's a long ass game, but I'll
Yeah.
try my best.
And then we got the Xbox showcase next week. You got predictions
This
for
week. This week.
This week. Well, yeah, we'll be talking about it next week.
Yes.
But it is Thursday at 9 a.m. Pacific
time.
Standard Time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are your predictions? What do you think? Like, what do you think like the format's going to be? You think it's going to be a lot like the Sony one, or you think they're going to do some janky ass like?
What I think it's going to be a lot like the Sony one, but instead of like the digital interludes, I think they'll do talking. Xbox seems to be really good about having a face with the games.
Yeah.
They'll have Phil Spencer come out and he'll be like, well, this is going to be an exciting next generation, blah blah blah, and then they'll show off a reel of Xbox One games, and then they'll be like, here's some new shit that we're working on, maybe new IPs, maybe bringing back some old IPs, and then I don't think they're going to say a price. I don't think so. It would be smart for them to release the price, but I think that's how it's going to be formatted. It'll be somebody talking, and then it'll show a game, and it'll jump back, and it'll be somebody talking about that game or the next game, and they'll show off a trailer followed by a trailer. It'll be like developer, trailer, developer, trailer, trailer, developer. That's how I think.
I think they will do that. I think they will say the price.
It would be smart for them to.
I have a strong feeling they're going to say the price. I don't know if they're going to show off that Lockhart thing, codename Lockhart, the digital version. I don't know if they'll show that. They might, but I think it's a good bet to say they will show the price. I think they're definitely going to be showing off the next.
You know what they're going to start with? I bet you they're going to start with Halo Infinite.
You think?
I think so. I think that'll open the show.
Yeah. I think, to start it with Halo makes a lot of sense. Halo Infinite, though. Is that the new one?
That's the new one.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the one that they haven't shown gameplay, but they've showed.
I think they're definitely going to be talking about Hellblade 2 more. I think they'll put a date on Hellblade 2.
You think so? That studio isn't very big, though. I don't think they'll have a date for that.
They're not very big, but they're also funded by Xbox now.
True, but I still don't think they'll have a date. They might have like a general date, maybe like 2022 or end of 2021, but they're not going to be like, summer or fall or, I don't think they'll narrow it down to season on that.
Here's a hot take. I bet they're going to show that Suicide Squad game.
I was thinking that. I was actually thinking that whatever WB is publishing right now. The Rocksteady game.
I think it's within the realm of possibility that they show off that and the next Arkham game, both at this conference. I think that'd be huge for Xbox.
That would be so big. Could you imagine? I have a hot take for you.
Yeah.
This is my hot take. They are going to revitalize Scalebound.
Yeah?
They're gonna revive it.
I don't think so. I think they want to distance themselves as much as possible.
Why? From what? From why?
Well, because it was such a media clusterfuck, that whole thing.
Yeah.
It's such a bad look. Why would you want to bring that up?
Because people want it. It's a platinum game, and people just want that shit. It looked interesting. It was a new IP, and if they have exclusive IPs, then that would be fantastic for them.
They need some new IP as well. That's why I think Hellblade is such a big deal for them, because that could be like their new IP. Although, just talking about it, like Hellblade as a sequel just seems sort of weird because of what the content matter was of the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Just seems sort of weird. It's about like schizophrenia and stuff, and like it's a pretty intense game to play. So yeah, just making a sequel to that is pretty weird.
Yeah, it would be weird. I got another one for you. I think they're going to announce Banjo-Kazooie
You think?
either remake or a whole new thing with the old style.
Yeah.
I think
You think Rare is gonna make it too?
What was Rare's last thing? Do we know?
Sea of Thieves.
Oh, maybe.
They're kind of like a totally different studio these days.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm not going to count that out. I think they know they can get a pretty big pop from that.
Oh yeah, especially if it's a release title. Just like, hey, we got Banjo-Kazooie, because we got Ratchet and Clank, we got we from
Infamous.
Yeah, well, I mean, we got Ratchet and Clank. I think the mascots are going to come back this generation.
Yeah, maybe.
I think that would be really cool if we
got Knack.
The old school mascots.
PlayStation's got Knack.
PlayStation's got Knack. If they'd only bring Jack and Daxter back.
I think, that's totally possible. But
it's totally possible.
I think long rumored was a reboot of the Fable series.
Yeah, I think that is definitely going to be a thing.
Yeah, that seems pretty likely.
Maybe not necessarily a reboot. Maybe a Fable 5 or a Fable remake. With that also, I believe I have a feeling that they're going to say something about Mass Effect, whether it's going to be a remake or a res up or something like that. I believe we'll see a Mass Effect something in there.
Here's an interesting one. People are talking about a potential.
This is supposed to be your predictions.
Well, I'm just buying into it. I'm just going through it, just throwing shit out there.
Sure.
A possibility is a new Perfect Dark game.
Ooh, that would be cool. That would be cool. I would really like that.
Forza Horizon
DLC. I think that'll be shown.
Or just like a new Forza Horizon, right? I mean, like, how long has it been? I don't even know.
Well, they just see what they do though is they. Oh no, that was Gran Turismo, wasn't it? Shit. Yeah, I guess it could be Forza. It wouldn't be Forza Horizon. It'd be the other one, Forza Motorsports, because they flip flop.
Sure, but I don't know. It could be either or, I suppose. So 4 came out in 2018. So yeah, it'd probably be too soon for a new Forza Horizon.
Yeah, I could see Forza Horizon DLC, like another funky, because we had Lego, we had what was the other one that we had? There was Lego and Micro Machines, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I could see another like funky.
I just gotta say though, man,
switch up.
I'm kind of excited for this.
Hot Wheels, that's what it was. It was Hot
I'm
Wheels.
more excited for this Xbox Games showcase than I initially thought. Because, with like PlayStation, you're just kind of like, okay, we're going to see the usual suspects. We might see Spider-Man. We might see Ratchet and Clank, just sort of the usual suspects. With Xbox, it's a little bit more like, what are we going to get from Xbox?
Right. Right. Yeah, for sure.
I think the fact that like WB is like now potentially in the mix adds a lot to the conversation. Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty excited. I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah. What was I gonna? What I was gonna say earlier was that I don't think we're gonna get it this showcase, but the next showcase, which I have a prediction that will be in August, I think they will show off. They're going to be more into the video game service rather than the video game consoles. I don't think they're going to lean hard into video game consoles this generation at all. I think they'll be like, yeah, here's the box, whatever, it's this price, it's this. If you want it, it's there. It'll be the best place to play Xbox games. However, you can just I think they'll lean more into their subscriptions. Honestly, with this generation,
I think they'll push both.
I'm sure they'll push both, but I don't think they'll lean into it as much as PlayStation is leaning into their hardware.
I don't know. I think they're still going to lean into it pretty heavy. I think they need to fully exist. But yeah, you could be right. I mean, like, because the fact that Game Pass is coming to PC, they're definitely more of a platform than a machine at this point,
Right.
I suppose. Yeah, I guess you're right. I could see them really pushing it though, but like Phil Spencer did come out and say like, I don't expect us to sell a lot of Xboxes at the start. Like,
Right. Which kind of has me like worried a little bit that they don't have a lot of things ready for release, in the time window of, in the release window of the console. But down the line, it sounds like they'll have more stuff. They'll have.
I think the fact that they are pushing more of a service than the actual, box itself tells me that maybe they are pushing really hard on games, and then they just want to put more of these games on Game Pass.
Right.
So then they could just sell more copies of Game Pass. Maybe one day we'll have Game Pass on the PlayStation, which would be nutty.
That's a hot take. That's a hot fucking take right
Totally
there.
possible one day, like if Xbox totally drops out of the console race and just does the subscription thing, and they're like, hey, can we just like put us on your system? I'm sure PlayStation would be like, sure, fuck it, come on over, dude. I've been saying that for a long time about Nintendo. I think Nintendo should put their like classic games onto PlayStation,
onto everything,
onto Xbox.
What is that called? Like I forget what it's called. The NES stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think. Yeah. So Banjo-Kazooie, I think it's a hot take, but also I think it could happen.
I think it's totally possible.
I think we'll see a Mass Effect. I think we'll see.
I don't
Fable.
see Mass Effect.
We'll see Fable for sure.
Yeah.
Something car related, either Forza Motorsport or Forza Horizon. I don't think we'll see the price, unless we might see the price for the cheaper version. This would be the best thing for them to do. If we see the price for the cheaper version, then it puts the ball in PlayStation's court. And if that price is too high, then Xbox has won it, So if they come out, let's say Xbox comes out and they're like, okay, we got the cheap box and it's $200. Like that's way too low. That's not what it's going to be, but it's $200, right? Now it's PlayStation's turn to be like, oh shit. Well, now how much are we going to sell this thing for? Because we can't sell it for $600. They just said $200. We got to lower the price. But then in the August event, which I guarantee you is going to happen, in the August event, they're going to be like, but this upgraded version is $500. It's slightly more than the PlayStation.
I think the opposite is true. I think the fact that Xbox hasn't announced their Lockhart yet puts them at an extreme advantage, because they can announce their price for their big box and it can be as high or little as they want it to be. Sony can come out. They've already announced both of their consoles, so if they drop the price to one of their consoles, they have to drop it for both.
True.
So now Xbox knows the price to their cheaper version, and Xbox can say, well, our cheaper version is cheaper than PlayStation.
That's an interesting. That's just it's flip.
I think that's like the big dick energy we were talking about the other day. The big dick energy would be to announce the price to the big console on Thursday, and then let Sony announce the price to both of their consoles, and then announce the price. So then they get ahead of it. They get ahead of it, and they get to follow Sony. So like they get the best of both worlds.
That's a good point. However, if the price is too high for this initial launch, it's for this first announcement, then it'll set people off against Xbox.
Maybe. Well, I mean, it depends on
It has to be reasonable. The first one has to be reasonable.
I can't imagine, like, say Xbox is like, our console is $600. That gives Sony the opportunity to be like, okay, well, our console is $550,
Right.
and
Yeah.
our cheaper version is $450. Well, now Xbox can be like, well, our cheap version though is $400.
Yeah.
So like,
it gives them a little more wiggle room, doesn't it?
so then it's like all across the spectrum of like prices and stuff. I don't know if it'll go that way.
It should.
I really think Xbox needs to drop the price. And honestly, as petty as it sounds, I bet once they drop the price on Thursday, PlayStation will come out that evening and say, "Oh, and our price is this."
So?
They'll just come out on Twitter and
on
be
the
like,
same
"I
on
have
the
a
same
feeling
day. It'll be Thursday at night, and it'll be like, okay, this is our price."
I have this suspicion that they're that petty.
It'd be really great. It'd be really great then if that happened. If Xbox then did the immediately after, it would just be like, all right, so our console's releasing at 600, then Sony's like, oh, we got this, and then like our console's releasing at 550 and 450, and then that night later on, Xbox is like, yeah, well, our cheapest is releasing at 400. That would be so great. It would all just happen in a day on Twitter. It'd be hilarious. Well, that would be so funny.
Those are my predictions. You got anything else to add to that?
No.
All right.
I don't think so.
What to look forward to next week? We've got the Xbox Showcase, of course, which we've been talking about for like the past 30 minutes. Yep. Thursday at 9 a.m. Pacific time. I don't know what's up with these conferences and holding them like early in the morning.
Early as fuck.
Can you stop? Like, put it at 3 o'clock when I wake up, damn it.
That's the crack of noon. Come on. That's when I wake up. I'm not going to. Yeah,
Carrion release comes out Thursday on PC, Xbox, and Switch. That game looks awesome. I'm excited about that game. We got to play it at PAX.
Probably pick that up. When it releases. Comes out on Thursday as well.
Hot $20.
Yeah, $20 is not a bad price for the kind of game that is.
So this week's question is, what will happen at the Xbox event? We have all the answers. Tune in next week and we'll give you all the answers.
Yep.
Only we have the answers. No one else will know. No one else will know. Next Tuesday, no one will know what'll happen. Yeah. Only us. So you have to come here and watch.
Yeah. See, so what we shared with you today, that wasn't the answer. That was just, we were just spitballing.
Yeah. We'll know next week. Yeah.
Next week we'll have the answers. Yeah.
We're just we just wanted to get everyone thinking. But next week we have the answers. We know already what happens at the Xbox.
Right.
We are all knowing.
We want you to engage in the conversation and see if your answers match our answers, and we'll tell you next week.
So every Monday, check out the Jake and Corey podcast. Keep an eye out on the channel, all that good garbage. Check us out on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts.
Are we on Spotify now?
We've been on Spotify the whole time.
God damn.
Yeah, we're on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio. We're going to be on Stitcher soon. Check us out. Podbean, everywhere.
Damn.
Check out our Twitters. I'm Emergency Pizza _ That is Fatal _ Nick.
That's right.
Follow both of us.
Yep.
And then
we follow the good ones.
And then I stream every once in a while on twitch.tv/lonercast. Thinking about doing YouTube streaming. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing with this streaming stuff, but we're doing it. We're out here, boys.
Also, if you follow @emergencypizza _ on Twitter, he always announces like, "Hey, follow me on. I'm streaming right now." So
yeah, true.
You get the hookups. It's not like a timed thing, but it's always
At this point, maybe one day, I'll have more of a schedule for it. But for right now, it's just kind of whenever. Well, thanks for checking us out. We'll be back next week. Nicholas,
we'll catch you.
Shake your hands.
There you go. That's nice. I like that. That's good grip. Good grip.
Yeah,
I like that. All right.